Indonesia's food after colonialism. Indonesia was colonized by many different countries. During the 16th century, many Europeans such as Spain, Portuguese, French, British, and Dutch wanted to dominate the spice trade of Indonesia. Indonesia was rich with spices, which is very useful then for medication and preservation of food. The Dutch arrived in Indonesia during the 16th century. They wanted Indonesia's spices during the height of the spice trade. They colonized Indonesia for 350 years. Indo-Dutch cuisine is the adoption and fusion of Indonesian cuisine and European cuisine. A lot of Indonesian food are influenced by the Dutch, and most are pastries such as kastengel, kue lapis, and pineapple tart. One of the most Dutch-influenced food in Indonesia today is the rejestafel. Rejestafel is translated into rice table. During their colonialism in Indonesia, the Dutch introduced rejestafel not only because they want to eat many dishes at a single table, but also to look good and impress visitors with their resources from their culture. In Dutch restaurants and back then, rejestafel consists of 40 side dishes that are served with rice. But in Indonesia today, rejestafel are more well known as traditional dish of nasi padang. Indonesians innovated the rejestafel concept and made it nasi padang because Indonesians think that 40 side dishes are too many and can be too expensive. Nasi padang is very much like rejestafel as it is served with side dishes that usually consist of egg, chicken, chili, and others. But they do not have as many side dishes as traditional rejestafel dish. Nasi padang now is one of Indonesia's best foods as it can be found anywhere. Kue lapis or soy cake in Dutch is a layered cake that can be made by many different ingredients. In Indonesia, they turn Dutch's multi-layered spread cake into a cake that usually contains cardamom, cinnamon, clove, mace, and also anise. During the 1900s, the normal kue lapis in Dutch needed to have 18 layers. That was why it was very expensive. Today in Indonesia, kue lapis does not have as many layers as the traditional Dutch basis cake, but still looks very similar to it. Kue lapis are very common food and can be found anywhere in Indonesia today, especially popular during Muslim Eid month and Chinese New Year celebrations. It is popular during Chinese New Year because there are a lot of Chinese people living in Indonesia, and to them, kue lapis has special meaning. It symbolizes the wealth that will be coming to them with each layer. Nastar or pineapple tart is a pastry that was influenced by the Dutch. It was made by the Dutch during their colonial run in Indonesia. The original nastar pineapple tart was supposed to be made like a European tart, in which it was stuffed with blueberry and apple. But blueberries and apple were hard to find in Indonesia back then, so the Dutch changed the ingredients and made it with pineapple. Blueberries and apple were really hard to find in Indonesia back then, so the Dutch changed the ingredients and made it with pineapple because they are only found in tropical countries and because there were a lot of pineapples in Indonesia and not much in European countries. Nastar is smaller than an actual pie tart that are made in Europe in general, and so in Indonesia today, it is more like a snack more than a tart. In Indonesia, nastar are special food during the Chinese New Year. When Indonesian people celebrate Chinese New Year, they eat nastar because it has special meaning of prosperity. Kastengels are cheese cookies that are usually shaped like a stick. Kastengel is from the Dutch red kastengels, which means cheese and stick. When the Dutch brought kastengels to Indonesia, at first the shape was like a stick and are long about 15 centimeters. Indonesian people prefer it as snacks, so they made into small cookies and add more flour to it. The pastry cooking of kastengel, the way they used the cheese, and was all taught by the Dutch. And now, kastengels are very popular on Christmas, Ramadan, and New Year's, and are also one of the most favorite pastries in Indonesia.
Created using Powtoon.